What's beauty to you?
What's beauty to me?
For artists, we fought for so long to have freedom of speech.
We have this technological revolution, but how does it impact our traditions?
If I moved one person to do something, I'll take it.
We have to remind humanity that we're one family.
The right to be different is one of our greatest rights as human beings. Who we are comes down to nature and nurture, our genetics and experiences. But it's accepting and dealing with our differences that still remains one of humanity's greatest challenges. In a world where perfection and capitalist ideologies bombard us, we've all felt the heat from the cool kids. But ultimately, it's our ability to tune out, think for ourselves, embrace our imperfections, and respond with our own authenticity that will either cage us or set us free. Jonas Leriche is a fine art photographer from Belgium that creates glamorous yet eerie human still life photos. Once a shy kid lacking direction, it was his mother that sparked his fascination with photography and later nudged him in the direction of art. Jonas began his career as a commercial and fashion photographer, but the glitz and glamour of promoting exclusive brands for mass consumption in an inauthentic world driven by perceived status soon became unfulfilling. So he switched to fine art to explore notions around the very themes he was promoting: authenticity, luxury, technology, and the culture of today.
We have this technological revolution, but how does it impact our traditions? The concept of the geisha is a very old traditional Japanese concept, but with the technology one wonders with cyberfication, what really of the soul of this geisha is still in her? Is it artificial intelligence? Is it a real person? So it's to start a dialogue.
She's like a cyborg.
Yeah, she's like half cyberfication, but in transhuman romance, you don't know which part is still human, which is not. And the eyes are blacked out, so it kind of makes you wonder, does she still have a soul? Butterflies is like new life, new beginnings. Yeah, these ones are silk screen prints with diamond dust. This is actually the profile of one of my vanity skulls, of one of my sculptures. We started to work from a picture that was a profile from the skull, and then we started to build it up in layers, so you get the texture.
Yeah.
And then we got it finished off with diamond dust.
This is one of 50, one of 20?
It's one of 20. I always say Mother Nature is the best artist. This is crocodile skin.
Oh,
But
crocodile
painted
skin.
crocodile skin. From
Oh, so you
sculptures.
color all these yourself?
No, I work with tanneries out of the fashion industries, and often I commission them to do a very specific color. That's basically 90% of my inspiration.
It's from natural.
Yeah, here I have like all nature, so it's
Fantastic.
all the different beetles. So this piece is actually called Dance of Eternity. The skull represents the end of something or death, and butterflies are the new beginning.
So death with the skulls and a new beginning with the butterflies.
It's like the circle of life. When something ends, something new begins.
Right.
And then they're connected by spines.
And then it's a love heart.
Yeah, I believe that like what ties everything together and it's universal is love. I first create a concept. So once the concept is finished, then I start to custom models. Really depends on the concept. Here I wanted a more softer look, because I want the butterflies to speak and the beautiful styling around the neck, and I want it to look organic. Well, if we would go over to that one there, Baroque, that's a more dramatic look. You could say it's hard because it's a skull, right? But because he closes his eyes, it has a very emotional undertone. So I think the trick is to direct them towards a point that you have the right composition and they translate the right emotion. Then I give them the freedom
To play.
Yeah, sometimes I have lucky accidents. Like, for example, with that picture, I wanted some more glitter, and I asked the makeup artist, and she blew the glitter. And the moment that she blew the glitter, I took that shot. So in a way, it's directed, but it's also a lucky shot because I left room for the spontaneity.
Jonas is a perfectionist when it comes to creating the ideal environment for happy accidents. With an eagle eye for the perfect shot, Jonas draws upon his commercial techniques to define his practice and seduce his audience. His elaborate sets resemble high-end fashion shoots on acid, featuring stunning models transformed by insanely skilled makeup crews among perfectly staged scenes dripping with diamonds, glitter, gems, and bizarre natural elements like beetles' wings, skulls, and exotic skins. The result is provocative fine art portraits suspended in alternate realities that are meant to be touched. Oh, look, I noticed he's got the green that matches that. I don't want to drop it. It's heavy.
Everything that has texture you can touch, because I think it's another dimension and it adds something sculptural to the piece. It's not just a flat surface. We have a lot of textures that I worked with, and this inspired me to translate it to sculpture, because when you wipe off the makeup at the end of the shoot, like, everything is gone. This way you keep the texture, you can see how the light reflects. I was always frustrated when you see a butterfly. It reflects the light in a certain way. With the Swarovski stones it's the same, but in the picture it's only one light setup. You don't see the whole play of the light and when the model moves. And that's why when the makeup is off, we're always losing this magical moment.
Where'd you get the skull from?
So
Is it a real skull?
the skull is like a real person. I even have the papers of his autopsy, a cast from a true human skull. So this was a person that's not aware that at this moment he's in many living rooms. This piece here is called Mickey is Dead. A comment on the American dream, like, is the American dream still alive? Because Mickey Mouse is like the symbol of the American dream.
Sure.
And it's not saying yes or no, but at least it makes you think about things.
Well, I think the naivety that existed back then is gone.
Yeah, also like a childhood dream that's dying, you know. It's like it pulls you back to reality. But it's not necessarily negative, because the butterflies are very colorful, so you kind of make the choice how you want to interpret it. When I was young, I always looked through these kaleidoscopes. I thought it would be nice to bring that element in, but it was more like, it felt more like a pattern. It's a real octopus that I did with silver pigment. And with this picture I always call it my Mona Lisa, because she has something mysterious in the composition, in the eyes. And if you would move from left to right or the other way, she follows you. I have different ones. I have the alienated, drifting away, and intergalactic. My artwork deals a lot with transformation, because in our lives we're in constant transformation. An octopus has 8 arms and it can go in many directions. And I think in life it's always about choices. It's always about which direction should I choose. They have something else, like an alien, like something like they come out of space. They're very fascinating and intelligent animals.
Photography began in the 1830s, but it wasn't until the 1940s that it really became an art form. What defines fine art photography from other photography is that it's who's behind the lens, not in front of it, that counts most. Essentially, the subject is the photographer's medium to create their artistic statement. Often the artist will highlight their subject's emotions to capture their unique vision. From skilled lighting to props, fine art photographers employ a multitude of specific components to define their style and narrative. Whether their motivation is intellectual, imaginative, or purely aesthetic, the objective is to capture timeless works of art to be hung on your wall.
So tell me, what about your mum and dad? I think your mum was a photographer, right?
Yeah, so my mother basically, she had photography as a hobby. When I was like maybe 6-7 years old, I used to sneak up in the dark room where she was busy developing the pictures. And there you saw an empty sheet of photo paper and suddenly the image would appear. To me it was like a magical moment. Yeah, then in school I tried many different things, but I was like the typical kid that never felt connected to anything, and my mother got tired of it and she said at some point, now go try art school. Yeah, it took me some time. I think I'm a bit a late bloomer as well. And then later on I got really intrigued by photography. First I did editorial work, and then I did some advertisements.
Okay, play for me.
Should probably tune it because it's like completely out of tune. I like guitar and I would jam because this would be a space where I don't think about something else. I think often as artists we're very much like a prisoner in our own mind. I'm like sometimes too much in my thoughts. So if I put on a blues backing track and I jam along with it, this is the one time that I don't think about anything else because you just try to feel the music. I know I liked Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, also because of the soundtrack. Yeah, it was that soundtrack that kept me going. I think the challenge is always on going, because you go through different levels of your art. It never stops because now you just want to reach other things on a different level. But I think the biggest challenge is being rejected. If they reject it, it feels like very personal. It's like they reject you as a person. Well, that's not necessarily the case. So that was for me one of the biggest challenges, to be positive and to keep on going and to keep on knocking on doors. It's still a challenge today because there will still be moments, no matter how great you are or whatever you achieve, that you will be rejected. And it's how you take that energy, like transform it into something positive.
Through his bold photos, sculpture, and wearable art, Jonas exemplifies that choosing to express yourself in an extreme way doesn't mean you have to have an extreme personality. In a status-driven world of oversharing and social media posturing, to take the time to look beneath the surface to respond with our authentic selves is a far more interesting journey than buying what we're fed. Ultimately, the essence of Jonas's art reveals the truth, that despite our luxuries, no matter how much life smiles at us, the last laugh is always reserved for death, and the cycle of life continues. And that's what makes our world a pretty amazing place.